Motherboard expansion cards and cooling. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the motherboard expansion cards. Also, we're going to talk about the cooling of the motherboard. So let's jump right into this lesson. One of the most adaptable and expandable parts of a computer would possibly be the use of the expansion slots. The expansion slots are the plastic slots that run in parallel on the motherboard. They're generally about 1 to 6 inches long and approximately 1/2 inches thick. The expansion slots allow you to expand the use of your computer's capabilities by adding devices that plug into these slots. These devices can be video cards, network adapters, audio, and other types of cards and devices as well. The main type of expansion cards used today would be the PCIe, taking over from the older PCIe or PCI. So let's talk a little bit about the expansion cards. Now, the expansion cards fit into the expansion slots. For a PCIe, it uses the lanes, and we've covered this in several lessons earlier. These lanes are paths that sends the data. PCIe has 7 different path widths supported. The X1, X2, X4, X8, X12, X16, and X32. And also PCIe 5.0 is the latest version. Now, one of the first expansion cards we're going to talk about is the audio type card or the audio card. Now, a sound card or an audio card is installed into the system's expansion slot, provides audio input or output. These cards are used for audio and multimedia applications, editing video, presentations, also entertainment, and other audio uses. These cards use a digital to analog converter, a DAC, a DAC, which converts recorded or generated digital signals to analog. And again, a lot of uses for these audio cards, and they plug right into the expansion slot. Video cards. Video card, sometimes known as a graphic card, is the expansion card that you'll put into your computer to allow the computer to present information on some kind of display, typically a monitor. Um, a video card is responsible for converting that data sent by the CPU into pixels and addresses and other items required for the display. Sometimes video cards can include dedicated chips to perform some of these functions, like accelerating the speed of the display. Video cards can be upgraded or replaced for onboard video cards. Now, some cards have integrated memory or integrated cooling, depending on the functionality or the performance level of that card. Generally, in higher performing accelerated graphics platforms, it would have its onboard memory and cooling. Another type of card you'll see is video capture cards. Video capture cards are used to save video streams or stream video, video surveillance, along those lines. Now, the video can come from multiple sources. It can come from online, it can come from a network source. Um, Video capture cards generally come with some type of software utility to help maintain or monitor and to configure those capture cards. Now, some of the capture cards provide audio support as well. The network interface card, one of the most common add-on cards that you could use today. An expansion card that connects the computer to the network. Now, a network or NIC card can be a wireless, it can be wired, it can be fiber. It can have also more than one port. It can have multiple ports. Now, some of these models may need drivers, but some of them may work with the newer operating systems that have its own drivers built right in. So let's look at system cooling basics. Now, heat is one of the most damaging things for a computer. A computer needs proper airflow and must be maintained. So airflow equals the intake and the exhaust. The computer case will intake the air, circulate that air within the case, and exhaust it out. That's proper airflow. Now, some components have integrated cooling built right into them, and we're going to talk about those. Also, there's alternate cooling methods like liquid cooling. So case fans is one of those staples that you'll see on a case. Airflow versus static pressure fans. Airflow fans, they cool the open case area, but static pressure fans blow forced air through elements like heat sinks, fans, or coolant radiators, or hard drive cages. Now, when you get a fan or you're building a PC, you want to be aware of the fan specifications. Normally, it's rated in CFMs or cubic feet per minute. And the most common fan size is 120 millimeters. Also, you want to be aware of fan noise and the power that that fan draws. Heat sinks. A heat sink is considered a passive heat exchanger. It dissipates heat away from a component, and it's based on the heat transfer principle. Basically, it uses cool air to transfer heat away from the device. Now, when a heat sink is paired with a fan, it's regarded as an active cooling solution. Now, thermal paste. Thermal paste actually is a material that helps conduct heat away. It's used to transfer heat to the heatsink. It's not an adhesive. And this would be for the CPU. Once you put the CPU in your motherboard, you put your thermal paste on top of there, then you put your CPU heatsink and fan. And again, it aids in conductivity. Liquid cooling, by far one of the most advanced ways to cool a computer case. It uses the principle of thermodynamics. Heat moves from warmer to cooler objects. Water heated by the CPU is moved to an exchanger, cooled, and moved through back the system again. Now, water can have move heat faster than air. This works just like a car's radiator and cooling system, where you have the coolant tubing that's running through the case or to the CPU. So, in this lesson, we talked about expansion cards, the sound cards, video cards, capture cards, the network interface cards, and we talked about different ways of cooling your motherboard in its case: the fans, the heat sink, thermal paste, and also liquid cooling. That's it for this lesson, and I will see you in the next lesson.